Okay, now we'll discuss about how a SOC team can be managed in an organization or how they work as a team in the organization. So definitely, if you take a simple example of a development team, you will have a, the product lead will be there who is like taking care of that entire product manager. Okay, you can take product owner, owner. He's also a manager, but he's a very senior manager who is telling like, this is a requirement what we have got, and I am, you know, giving it to various other managers. Okay, each team will be like, designated. Here, say for example, development team will also have a manager. Okay, so test team also will have a manager. Okay, if the project goes to the maintenance team also will have the manager. Okay, so under this manager, okay, you'll be having some leads. Okay, say for example, here the leads will be coming into the picture. Okay, so each team will have, test lead. Okay, okay, maintenance leads will be there. Okay, so each manager will be having few leads also. Okay, these are all, you know various leads. Okay, these are all leads. Lead, lead, lead. Okay, so these are all various people who are within the organization itself, but their roles and responsibilities are specific to their stream. Okay, it is not like product owner only will develop, right? He will be delegating his all responsibilities to various okay managers who are working for him. Okay, so test manager he'll be recruiting, and his responsibility is to recruit the test lead, and his responsibility is to recruit the, you know or to manage his own, what do you say, uh, engineering team. Okay, so these are all engineers. Okay, these are all engineers. Okay, these people might be working on one module. Okay, these guys will be working on another module. Okay, so this is E1 means engineering. Okay, just E2. Okay, like that. This guy also got like, multiple team members within this particular team. Okay, so like this you will be having one thing to be remembered. Every team, any organization, okay, they will work as in the form of a team. Okay, and it will be having an hierarchy of people. Hierarchy means one guy will be on top, and many people will be reporting to that particular person directly and indirectly. But if you take in this particular case, you belong to which team? Some product team, and you are an engineer here. Example. Okay, so you are reporting to whom? You are directly reporting to your lead, but indirectly reporting to your test lead. Okay, or development lead, or some some leads will be there. Okay, we are all engineers actually who are working. Okay, if you are having some good experience more than 5 years or 6 years or 7 years, okay, then you will be called as, uh, lead engineer. Okay, um, sometimes managers will be like, with 10 plus years of experience. Some people will be having, 15-20 years of experience, they'll also be here itself. But some people are having, um, more than 20 years of experience, they'll be here. The same hierarchy will be applied to our, SOC team also. Okay, there is no special uh, characteristics are there, but the way they work is different. Okay, the hierarchy looks to be the same because the organization has to work function in the same way. So entire organization will be like, taking care of in a typical organization structure. Okay, forget about you are working for a company directly as a SOC engineer or through some third party, but you are working somewhere in a SOC team. So being an engineer, who and all are different layers of people comes into the picture is the main thing. Okay, so first things first you will be having like, your CISO is the main boss for the entire company. Like how the entire organization security related things has to be taken care everything. Okay, whether where we are standing with respect to the security, he should be responsible. Okay, he'll be having so many teams reporting to him, like a legal team, okay, compliance team, okay, uh, okay, legal and compliance, legal legal team, okay. Legal team is responsible, legal and compliance, okay. You are buying a software, okay, uh, legal and compliance, okay. uh, you are buying one software, whether it is legal to buy in India or not, okay, whether this particular software is like developed by the right person or not, whether it can be trusted or not, and some other aspects, like we are starting a business in some other company, sorry, some other country, where there are like people in that particular region, okay, uh, like the government, whatever it is, the rules and regulations they have kept, you are trying to serve that area, but that particular country, with your services, but the thing here is whether you are compliant to that government norms or not first, okay. You are allowed to do business or not, or you are allowed to do the business the way you are running in the same way in, if I are in US, the same way you can run it here or not, or you have to do any modifications. All those things this legal and compliance team will take care. Okay. So, and also there will be some kind of, some companies they will keep this particular part separately. That is like, uh, what do you say? Uh, I can say it as like, complete cyber team, okay. Cyber team, it's like they do all kind of red team activities, like attacking related things, okay. They'll have some various network could you please go on mute? Okay. uh, they'll be having some sort of network attack engineers or application test application security engineers, okay. Say for example, application security team, okay, app security, okay. And here it will be network security, okay. So various things will be there, that things you have to remember, okay. So what I'm saying here is like various teams will be there, and now you have one wing which is called as SOC also, okay, which is part of here, okay. SOC team, okay. These guys are like red team and white, I mean like red teaming, like attacks they do and all. But some companies, what they will do, they will merge this within the SOC team itself, if it is a mid-sized company, okay, or a small company. But in many of the organization, it will be cyber team will be separately, they will be handling it, okay. And all of these teams are reporting to CISO, means Chief Information Security Officer.
Only one.
These so CISO is responsible for the entire organization security related things, okay. um, Chief Information Security Officer, okay. So he's having multiple teams, and each team has got its own responsibility to take care. One among them is SOC team, and in sometimes what happens is cyber team, or the attack teams, network and application security team also comes under. Say if it is app security team, if there someone is developing some application, okay, immediately they will be kept here, okay. And they will do some kind of activities with respect to this testing of maintaining of the, like they have done some maintenance, and now they need to do some testing on that particular application. These guys will go and test it and provide the report to their leads, and the same report will be provided to the cyber team, and it will be known if these guys miss anything, like reporting to the product manager or anything. But this team is actually from the here, right? So they will let the cyber team know, and the cyber team manager will be updating it to the CISO. We have found these issues to the in this particular product at this particular stage, something like that, okay. So all these things are all are interlinked also sometimes, okay. So you everyone's responsibility is to provide security to the entire organization. That is the one main objective that you have to keep it in mind. Now let's go back into this particular SOC team itself. Okay, now the SOC is having, you know, very good hierarchy, like how you have seen it over here. Okay, now let us see. Okay, now this is the SOC team. Okay, so if you take this is a SOC team, okay, you will be having a SOC manager. I say many of the companies, I don't say that 100% SOC manager should be a SOC engineer who went to that particular level. They will be hiring the people who are certified, like, you know, CISSP certified people also they can take, who are having wider knowledge of the how the company organization security things to be in place, but they might have not worked, they might have done very good MBA or anything where they're good at management. Okay, so those guys can also be becoming a CSS. It is not always cyber from, you know, the from the lower level of L1 to they have moved to that particular hierarchy. It is not mandatory something like that to become a very good product manager nowadays. Even if you have very good MBA degree and if you have very good planning skills, they are hiring you as a product manager. You no need to have much information on, like, you know, becoming coding and all. Okay, but you are very good problem solver means that is enough for them. Same way here also, but at least to prove yourself you need to have at least a CSP. But regularly, like you and me and all are working already in this particular area, can actually move up to this particular ladder. Okay, and when they are starting any SOC team, first what they will do is, okay, they will be hiring a SOC manager. Okay, usually they will eh, basically they will look for any experience who is in SOC only first thing. Okay, and who is having some kind of, you know, CSSP knowledge. Okay, and you will be having multiple leads they are going to recruit. Okay, so why you need multiple leads for this particular, you know, team? Okay, so it is uh, for two specific reasons. One is, okay, your company might be in India and your company might be in US. Okay, for leading India team you need one lead. For US timings and all you need one lead. Okay, for you know, Singapore time you need one lead. Okay, so you need to have multiple, you know, leads for anything. Or your team is only in India but you are working in three different ships. Okay, so that time also you need to have a lead always. Okay, so always remember, okay, an L3 engineer can also be a lead. Okay, an L3 engineer can be a SOC manager also. Okay, means like it is not something like hard and fast rule. Small and mid-sized companies, L3 who is having very good experience can also they make them as a, you know, uh, a manager. Okay, it is not like that. Okay, they can, like, you know, if you have very good experience as an L3, you are a SOC manager. Okay, if you are having, you know, L3 very good experience but still they'll be making you as lead only. Okay, it is not L2 is lead and L3 is not a lead. It is not like that. L3 is also lead. Okay, so and in some cases, okay, in some cases what happens is these guys are the one who are taking care of day-to-day activities of the entire the shift or the region, right? Okay, and all of them are various time zones, are all of them are who are working various you know, shifts. They're reporting to the SOC manager, and SOC manager is, like, you know, delegating his work to lead. Right now lead has to have multiple people. Okay, so he should have a blend of you know, mixture of people in the team, like, you know, I want multiple, you know, uh, L2s to be in place who can actually assist me in doing these activities in this particular time zone or in this particular, you know, shifts. Okay, so he'll be, like, you know, having some kind of delegating his work. A few things will be delegated. So now it is like they can also take some breathe when it comes to the activities. Okay, so because some senior folks will be there, usually L2s will be, like, you know, 4 to uh, you know, 8 years or 10 years are experienced guys. Okay, these are all L2s. Okay, this L2, these are all L2s, L2 engineers. Okay, So now L2s are here in place everywhere. Okay, like in every time. These are like senior engineers. Like they know the situations how to handle rather than like like with which team how they have to communicate. What are the means of communication? Okay, if we need how to react to an incident in a more matured way. Say for example, someone said like some um, continuous from last 24 hours some systems are not sending any logs. That time also these guys are coming into the picture. Why we, because like these guys when they don't get logs and all, they will be blind. What's happening in the organization they don't know, so these guys will get involved. So okay, if there is any really any security incident, say for example continuously your organization is experiencing from past 1 hour some kind of web related attacks from various OASP related attacks. Say, for example, someone is doing SQL injection attack, or multiple systems they have compromised using some virus, or they are doing a lot of phishing attacks. Okay, for all those things, immediately. Okay, even though L1 is there, but handling that situation in a proper way, these guys have got some experience. Like when it comes to digging the information from the systems and providing that particular information to the leads, that and lead will take decisions on that particular aspect, and making with some other teams like IT teams and operations teams how they can actually handle this current crisis. Okay, so just remember that L2s are the engineers who are having very good experience when it comes to analysis part. Okay, and the entry level engineers are having like less than 4 years of experience. Okay, they will be called as L1s. Okay, who are the people on ground who is continuously monitoring. That doesn't mean that L1 L2 and L3s are not monitoring. They are also doing their part, but mainly their part will be to an extent where how I can say till they don't continuously monitor. If there is an alert, immediately who is going to respond? It is L1 or L2. Okay, it is not L3 or the SOC manager who is going to respond for that particular kind of things. Okay, so you'll be having multiple SOC engineers in any given team. Okay, and they are reporting to various L2s, and it is not something like all of them will be reporting to L2. There might be some people who are like, this guy is some activity which needs to be taken care directly to report it to the lead. That also will happen. Okay. But as of now, in a logical way, you can think that L1s will be reporting to L2. Okay. So this is how it is structured in any organization. Okay, so the L2's main responsibility, as I said, will be on handling the incident. Okay, once after it provens to be if it is like after you are having some playbooks for all your alerts, if they are proven to be true positive, means it's really an attack. Okay, which is the conclusion of L1. Then L2, what he'll do further analysis, and whatever the analysis L1 is actually is correct, then he can create, L1 can create, or L2 can create an incident and bring based on the type of alert. If it is a severity alert, like multiple missions got compromised, then it is a high severity and high priority alert, and impact is also very high. Okay, so that time he will be jumping in, and he will be like getting in touch with the AV team, and he'll be like assigning some their tickets to them, that okay, this is the incident which we have observed. They cannot say no and all. Okay, who? Antivirus team and all. Okay, our endpoint protection team, they cannot say no and all, because it's the SOC team is there to look after like the complete organization security things. We are somewhat like more to be taking ownership from the security point of view. They are also other team which is helping the organization to you know um, to make it more secured. But our responsibility is to make sure current posture of the organization, we should be holding it as a responsibility. Means currently we are secure. So that means like you have the sense of responsibility to go and tell, to a specific team, these are not working properly, please fix them immediately. Okay, or get in touch with the vendor. Why this multiple systems are getting compromised? Okay, apply a new patch. Okay, so something like that. If it is a firewall, okay, these ports should not be opened. We know that we have the configuration of inbound traffic, what ports to be closed, but we see the port is allowed. Okay, you can raise a incident, and you can tell them that they have to fix it ASAP. ASAP means like, as per for you, how you have a SLA of reacting for reacting to an incident. You have a time. Okay, for them also they'll be having SLAs, like within what time, if some uh, kind of configurations or anything has to be changed based on, like you are planning to block some suspicious IP, you are requesting them. Okay, the traffic, if it is not convinced, they can take some time, but if it is already attacking, means they cannot take more time, so they'll have SLAs. Okay, they'll also have SLAs, like firewall team, antivirus team, or some other teams like Windows Server team, Linux team. Okay, that means endpoint protection team and endpoint team itself, like IT ops. uh, all these guys will have their own SLAs, and you have SLA for when, within what time you should create your analysis and provide. Okay, and it has to be recorded as an incident if it is a true positive. So this is how the organization will work. The SOC manager, L2s will create, will be assisting these guys, and leads can actually create the reports. Even they can assist lead by these L2s can create reports, and you know send to the entire organization. This is our, like, performance in this particular thing that we have secured in this particular way, and these are the total number of alerts we have received, and the majority of the traffic coming from these particular countries, and these are the top the services are utilized by our organization where the security breaches are happened. Not security, like, uh, uh, what I can say, rather than security breach, these are the incidents which we have taken care, and which are in, whether those incidents are in mitigation, or mitigation means they have fixed it, means like other teams they have fixed it, or how many of them are open. And leads will be in weekly calls with all other teams, that whatever the current ongoing work, how they can improve, they can take the feedback from the other teams also, and they will be like any ongoing issues with other teams, they can resolve in those meetings. Sometimes they will call L2s also to join in this, and sometimes uh, manager will also be there in that particular call, and he is the responsible of taking care of the entire team is working properly. Got it right? Okay, and there shouldn't be any kind of ambiguities, that what each person has to do will be clearly mentioned by the SOC manager. There should be any conflict in between L2 and the lead L3, that hey, I have done your, I'm doing your work also, like that kind of a thing should not be coming. So the SOC manager will be clearly defining what are the roles and responsibilities of the entire team, what shifts they have to come. Okay, what are their KPIs, means like key performance indexes, means how they should, like what are their main objectives for this particular year or something. And mainly, like, shift rotations and all also they can be taken care by lead or SOC manager. Okay, and which person has to come at which shift and all. Okay, that also you can like, SOC manager or lead can take care. Okay, and yeah, year end appraisals and everything will be taken care by the SOC manager. So at a high level, these are the things. Okay, and some companies, what they are doing is, in these L1s or L2s, they're giving, mid-size company and small size companies, they're giving some some training for vulnerability assessment. Okay, then some kind of weekly pen testing or monthly pen testing. Okay, on some applications or something, those things are also coming nowadays. Okay, means like giving more responsibilities to the SOC team itself when it comes, because they cannot afford to hire some separate engineer and maintain a separate team. Okay, they can actually have, like, threat hunters and all will be within this particular, mainly threat hunters nowadays, like, L2s are becoming very good threat hunters, if they possess the right skill set, knowing, like, the very good log sources and all, if they are having very good knowledge. Okay, then they are, like, they are showing more interest. So but it is required for you also to learn that particular things, how the threat hunting happens, and you have to put that particular thing in your resume only. Then only people will be showing interest. Okay, but yes, it is not required that, they'll be doing the SOC activities. Threat hunters can do SOC activities, or only threat hunting activities. Means, like, you have just came up and you have taken some kind of, these are the attackings which our organization will be performing, and I'll be checking whether any of threat related indicators in our organization are. With an open mind, you will go and start doing that. Okay, so yeah, this is about the, the SOC team and how it works, okay, in an organization. So this is a fair amount of information is required for you guys. Okay.